All right, let's go. Good morning. Good morning. Y'all bow with me. Gracious Heavenly Father, here we are again, asking you to forgive us of our sins, to say thank you for all the wonderful blessings that you continually put on us individually and corporately, to ask you to lead us and guide us. Let us do the right things. Be with us, keep us in your arms. In my Savior's name I pray. Amen. It is certainly a pleasure to see my counterpart from across the building, the one, the only music man number 2, Mr. Chairman. It's nice to see you. I want to let you all know this is serious, that I got word this morning that somebody might try to lock y'all down, so you can go through your bills. But we will meet again and decide and take everything off the calendar.
Well, I haven't heard that, Mr. Chairman, so I hope that isn't true.
I got it this morning, and if we want to play that way, all I need is a budget. I can go home.
Well, Your Grace, it's my pleasure to be here, and I appreciate all you do and your esteemed members here, and just an honor to be in your presence. You make me feel like Maxwell House. You know, it's a good way to wake up in the morning right here.
I think I came by and reminded you that we meet at 9 o'clock
yes,
normally,
sir.
And yesterday my wall was barren, so it didn't take us long to meet.
Well, Mr. Chairman, getting my leg strapped by you is only a pleasure, and you taught me well, Your Honor. I'm proud to be here.
Y'all, in case you don't know, that's Mr. Mullis, the rules chairman.
Now, do I need to sing for my bill? I can hit something.
I've heard you sing, and if you do that, your bill's dead.
I won't sing then. But if you will, with your pleasure, modified structure rule, Senate Bill 382. It's a bill that applies to retail theft, refund fraud, if you will. And it costs our country about $8 billion a year, several hundred million here in Georgia. And it's something that our retailers are advocating for. I'll be glad to answer any question.
Are there any questions? No questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let me know how I can serve your members in my little old committee across the way.
Mr. Miller.
I know. Not often I'm speechless, Mr. Chairman. I'm asking for SB 95. The minority leader has an amendment which I approve of and ask for your favorable consideration. Under modified structure.
Okay. I want to do it as we go. We're going to have a couple of these things. Ms. Abrams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer Amendment 292304, which is on your desk. This would allow, rather than the underlying bill, which allows the member who's been temporarily removed from that position to select their replacement. This would allow the governing authority to make that election based on applications from anyone who's qualified to apply for that office.
Fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're good.
Mr. Miller, you got any comments?
No, sir, I'm fine with it.
All right. Ms. Drenner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
It's not working. You
Do you want Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also apologize, have not spoken to the author of the bill yet, but would like to offer an amendment. It's on your desk right now, and all the amendment does is offer a county-wide referendum on the particular bill.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I haven't seen this yet.
you haven't seen the amendment?
No, I just got it. I would object to that amendment. It defeats the purpose of the bill.
Okay.
I would object to the amendment. It defeats the purpose of the bill.
Ms. Abrams, I don't have your amendment. Okay.
I'm fine with the minority leader's amendment. That's fine. That was previously discussed. We worked on it. She and Chairman Jacobs worked on the first amendment.
Okay. All right, you've got in front of you two amendments. We're going to look at the first one, the one by the minority leader, AM 292304. Do I hear a move on that amendment? Any objection? All right, that'll be the rules amendment, AM 292304. You have on your desk AM 281336 by Ms. Drenner. Y'all don't have that one? Hold on. Everybody got it?
Sorry, guys.
All right, you've heard Ms. Ms Drenner's amendment. The author is opposed. Do I hear a motion? Have a move. Do I hear a second? All those in favor signify by aye. All those opposed signify same sign. It does not pass. So that you will have AM 292304 on your desk. That's it.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Kirby.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On modified open, the second bill down, I asked for HR 1655. It's a simple urging resolution to our congressional delegation, urges them to stand firm on the Constitution and expressing the state of Georgia's commitment to protecting the rights of our people.
Any questions? Thank you. Mr. Albers.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Under modified structure rule, last bill at the bottom is Senate Resolution 788. This is the annual conveyance bill. All members of the General Assembly have had discussions with the Properties Department, and all are in agreement.
Any questions? No questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Heath.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Under the modified open rule, fourth bill down, Senate Bill 60, save the taxpayers a little bit of money and offer a little more organized method for us to keep up with some of the communications we get.
Mr. Hamilton.
My friend in the well, does this have anything to do with Cherokee Indians?
Not to my knowledge, sir.
The pro tem.
I have a list. I'm not sure that it is conclusive, but throughout the code, over the years, we've required certain agencies and departments to send reports to us on an annual or whatever basis. Some of these include State Warehouse Commissioner, Department of Natural Resources, Department from the EPD, Natural Resources regarding fuel funds dispersed under Marine Resources Extension Program, Department of Human Services, Athletic Associations, Board of Education, State Medical Board. I mean, I'll provide you with a list, but at least these. It would not affect anything that we do by rules. So Senate rules or House rules or policies that we adopt, it only affects those things that are required by the official code of Georgia annotated.
Ms. Abrams.
I think to the Speaker Pro Tem's question, my concern is that the inclusion of the word directive and regulation means that that would be any documents that any internal agency decides that they need to communicate. We would now be inundated with electronic documents that fall outside of simply what the Code of Georgia requires, but anything that any internal, any body internally decides that they need to tell us about. I mean, is there a defined term for directive?
I've had multiple members of Legislative Council look at this, and they are confident that this only affects those things that are required by the code to be transmitted to the members of the General Assembly.
Would you be comfortable with striking the language, because directive is not a defined term in the state code?
I would prefer not to do that, as it has been reviewed many times by Leg Council, and they believe that this is the right language. So I'm hesitant to, I mean, this is the House. You guys get to make amendments as you choose, but I don't think that that is going to improve the bill.
Thank you.
The Majority Leader.
Senator, good morning. I just want to make sure and clarify, is it your intent to only deal with reports or notices or written correspondence that are from the code?
That's correct.
And if that's all you want to deal with, why would you object to removing directives or regulations, because neither of those are in the code? I'm confused.
I'm just going by what Legislative Council has the guidance that they provided me. As I said, I respect the body. If the body believes that that's a good change, then we'll move that pathway.
Mr. Hamilton? Okay. All right. Thank you. No more questions.
Thank you.
Mr. Stone.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, committee members. We have 4 bills on the calendar here today, 2 under modified open rule. We discussed these before. SB 339 is an agency bill from Code Revision Commission. 341 is an agency bill from the Probate Judges Council. And in modified structure rule, we have 2 bills. SB 332, which we've covered before is a bill requested by the magistrate council to adjust their contempt level. And SB 304 is a new bill dealing with CCRCs, allowing them to offer an equity model. This is an industry bill.
Any questions? No questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
This boy got the word that today's Georgia Day. All right, long, tall, and lanky, get up there. Let's see.
I dressed up just to come see you, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, on the third one down on the first page under modified open, H.R. 1265 simply creates a study committee for the purpose of examining autonomous vehicle technology. It's technology that's really making leaps and bounds right now. We've seen cars that have technology to maintain roads, to maintain the lanes you're in, to kind of stop you as you're getting close to rear-ending somebody. But as it's progressing, eventually I think one day we're going to see cars that do fully drive themselves, and so Georgia needs to be ready to take advantage of it. So the study committee would do three things. It would first look at how this technology could promote the research and development that already takes place in our state, identify the complications or liabilities that will go on.
Okay. I would suggest that when this is over with, you find Mr. Ramsey and let him tell you what you need to do.
I'll find him. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Carter, I don't need to hear about it. I'm going to put that dadgum thing on.
Do you want me to keep coming back? Or
no.
You? Okay, thank you, Mr.
No.
Chairman. Good to see y'all.
Mr. Cowser.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm a little premature. May have gotten my form in late yesterday, but Senate Bill 374 should be under your modified open rule. That was the bill that dealt with changing the definition of a slum to an area of blight. This was a convenient vehicle for the transportation chairman. His bill, House Bill 960, took a ride with me in your committee, so I'm happy to present this for him, as well as the GMA, which was pushing to change that definition of blight to slums to a pocket of blight. I'm sure it'll be on your list tomorrow, Mr. Chairman. I had turned it in. It must not have been in on time to make your list today, but since I was here, I thought I'd go ahead and mention it to you.
I appreciate that, but it'll be tomorrow before we get to see it.
I'll be back. Thank
you.
Mr.
All right. Any member? Mr. Robert.
This is an amendment that actually has been worked on by a lot of people that had some concerns about the permits and maintaining the flow. This actually, I think, clarifies it up. We've had a lot of, as y'all know, a lot of discussion about this issue, and I think this is one that finally brings everybody to the table. Everybody's agreed to it, and I ask for your favorable consideration to move it on to the floor.
Anybody got any questions on that amendment? Mr. I want to do the amendment because I'm going to probably do a supplemental calendar for today to get that thing on there. All right, you've heard Mr. Roberts' explanation. You've got it on your desk. I will assume that you're making the motion, Mr. Roberts. Yes. Have a second, and I'm going to tell y'all that a lot of people worked a lot of hours to get this thing, in my opinion, fixed. And I believe they have fixed the bill. Those of you who might not have been so engaged in this bill, it's a good time to look at it, because this is it's done what we think needs to be done. All those in favor of the amendment, aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Mr. Parrish.
That just creates the House Study Committee on Medical Education to help us deal with the physician shortage and the residency issues within the state.
Any questions, Mr. Parrish? No. Ms. Drenner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to ask for two resolutions. The first one is House Resolution 689. The local boards of education just actually all it does is urge local boards of education and schools in Georgia to implement efficient energy systems. The second one is H.R. 1185, and all this resolution does is publicize the Green Apple Day of Service.
Any questions? Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My esteemed colleague and caucus member, I'll get with Mr. Earnhardt because she's explained it extensively to him, and I didn't want to eavesdrop, and I don't know anything about it, but I'm sure Earl will tell me. Thank you.
Ms. Dempsey.
Yes, for Senator Unterman, I'd like to ask for SR 981. This is Joint Study Committee on Violence Against Healthcare Workers. It came forward through her previous study committee last year on hospitals, and also through the one that I chaired on the Joint Committee on Mental Health Access, the growing numbers of attacks on healthcare workers as well as weapons collected.
As I look down here and see this list of all these bills, these 12 bills that they've sent over here, it must be the Unterman Stone show over there, because they've got about 12 each.
Well, if I'd been a little smarter, I would have created that one myself. So,
Mr. Rice.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm only going to ask for one of Senator Stone's bills, and that's Senate Bill 341, the probate court bill.
Ms. Cooper. Wait a second.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just in case nobody else asks for it, I'll ask for Senate Bill 382. That's Chairman Mullis's bill, in case the message goes back over. And I would like to ask for one of Senator Unterman's bills. It's Senate Bill 292. It's the Alzheimer's Disease Registry. We really need to get a handle on how big a problem this is in our state, and if there are certain locations where it's worse, and the registry would help us do that. Thank you.
Ms. Abrams.
I'd like to put my name beside H.R. 689 and H.R. 1185.
Mr. Hamilton. It won't work. Just talk.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to put my name by Senate Bill 341, the probate court bill.
Mr. Green.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Resolution 788, that's annual property conveyance bill.
Okay. We're going to set first thing we're going to do is set a supplemental calendar for today. SB 2 under modified structure SB 213. Any opposition? It's on. The amendment's there with it. We passed the amendment, so it rides along. For tomorrow's calendar, Under open rule, H.R. 689, do I hear a move? Any opposition? It's on. Open rule, H.R. 1185. Any opposition? It's on. Under modified open, H.R. 1722. Any opposition? Under modified open, SB 292. Any opposition? Under modified open, SB 339. Which one? Are you requesting me to hold it one day? It's on hold. Modified open, SB 361. Get Buddy out of here. It's on. We'll get a map together under spatial organization. I don't know what that means. Under modified structure, SB 95 as amended. Any opposition? Under modified structure, SB 382. Any opposition? It's on. Under modified structure, SR 788. Any opposition? That's the calendar. Well, no it didn't, no it didn't. No it didn't. I lied.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to move pursuant to Rule 33.3 that debate on SB 213 scheduled under the supplemental calendar for today be limited to 1 hour, time to be apportioned equally by the Speaker.
Got a motion second. We got an objection. All those opposed signify by aye. All those for? Aye. 1 hour.